Hello, whiskey lovers. Okay, we're now at the last week of July. So I've just got my tax done the other day. So not yet, but will be very shortly in the position to buy a Glenfiddich 12-year-old. So I thought, let's start our Glenfiddich comparisons. So Glenfiddich 12-year-old will be probably the base standard I'll compare the others against. So I thought today we might just try the two expression ones I have. So my Fire and Cane, the peated Glenfiddich, and the Orchid, maturated in apple cider casks. Now, I know which one's probably going to be my favourite. It's going to be the peated. It's going to be the Fire and Cane. So I don't know if I'm going to use that as the metric for this. I'm not sure. Okay, so all right. Okay, let's see if we can go for the expressions only. I'm going to see which one best invokes what it's trying to achieve. So the Fire and Cane is obviously smokiness with the peat and a sweetness. And the Orchid, of course, with the apple expression is, you know, very appley sort of taste. All right, so let's go be with our metric. Okay, so they both come from Glenfiddich in Dufftown, Keith, Banffshire. It was established in 1887. It's currently owned by William Grant and Sons. The Completish Guide to Whisky claims that as you continue down the hills into the outskirts of Dufftown, the exquisite shell of Convalmore to your left, once part of the United Distillers Empire, is now been claimed by the advancing William Grant. As Grants have 3 distilleries already, Calvermore will never work again, but the warehousing and land are priceless and can be used to store perhaps the most famous malts of all, Glenfiddich. Boulogne Convalmore is a complex which houses 3 distilleries: Glenfiddich, Balvenie, and Kennyvive. The last one was built only in 1990, and very few people are aware of its existence. Yeah, I never heard of them. The same can hardly be said of Glenfiddich. It was this distillery which pioneered the mass making of single malt whisky, and every year, well in excess of 100,000 people arrive from all over the world to see where and how the whisky is made, in some cases to pay homage. Sailing is becoming something of a sport amongst the cognoscenti to dismiss Glenfiddich as a joke whisky. A number I have met over the years on the principle that if you think Glenfiddich makes good whisky, then no way should you be considered a connoisseur of the malt. Oh, well, I'm sad to say it is my benchmark for single malt whiskies. I am pleased to say that I have found many that surpass that benchmark, but that is my benchmark. Well, obviously, I am no connoisseur because Glenfiddich make very good whisky. To be sure, the day-to-day stuff we find on the shelves does not bear comparison with Speyside's finest. It is too young and vibrant, yet I find the refreshing dram with its lemon drop fruitiness, although the occasional batch can be flat and touch lifeless. However, select whisky from distilled from 12 years onwards, and we are talking first competence, second excellence. That I would agree with. Okay, so let's try our 2 expressions. So the Fire and Cane, sorry. It's featured numerous times on this channel. Just a wee drop because I'm getting down my last. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find a replacement. Okay, so we have a good golden colour that I will come to expect of a Glenfiddich. That nice peat. It's not overpowering. It's just a nice smoky smell to it. Maybe bits of cinnamon or some sort of sugar. Which is funny because I once had a friend of mine, an American friend of mine, who tried telling me that Fire and Cane was just whiskey mixed with cinnamon, and I was like, no, because it's a single malt. It's not allowed to be mixed with like that. They would have to find other ways to get that flavour in. You wouldn't listen to me, but I can see though why, if you're not as well versed in whiskey, and not far from me being well versed, I'm just a pure amateur at this point. But yeah, I can see how you can make this mistake. If you want a whiskey that is mixed with cinnamon, I would suggest the Fireball. I have tried that; it is quite nice. Okay. Mm. So you're getting the lemon, the citrusy sort of taste of the Glenfiddich, and then you get this like this smokiness afterwards. It's quite delicious. There is a sweetness there, so I would solely say the citrus mixed with maybe a caramel, maybe. Although there might be the influence of the peat itself, and then a nice, like smokiness. It's not an overly complex whiskey. Sets out and achieves what it wants to. Now the Orchid. Now I remember being very impressed with the Orchid. I've seen many whiskies claim, citrus, appley sort of tastes. I think this was the best one of them all. So we have a good colour. Oh, already Granny Smith apples, very sweet. It does. It just smells like an apple cider. I once had another friend of mine who, unfortunately, I just recently found out had passed away last week. Once, when I was drinking a regular Glenfiddich at a restaurant, came up to me and said they were serving me apple juice. I showed him he was wrong, but it was a running joke amongst us. So, yeah. Yeah, so... But in this particular case, if he had smelt this one, I would be like, yeah, you're probably right. It does smell a bit like apple juice. Mm. Okay, it's sweet. It's got a citrus combination. I can definitely taste the sort of more lemony sort of influences of the Glenfiddich. But there is definitely that sort of appley sort of taste there. It must come from the cider barrels. Oh, I said a terrible metric. They both succeed. Hmm. Hmm. I'm just going to have to call this one a draw. They both succeed in what their experimental tastes were trying to achieve. I have apples that put me in mind of an apple orchard. I have a smoky but sweet sort of contrast there with the fire and cane. Yeah, so we'll see this one a draw. Yeah, cool. Okay. So next week, I'm not sure what I'll do yet. I will preference this though with the Glenfiddich comparisons. At some point in August, I might be able to compare the Grand Cru because it'll be Mel's birthday, and we only drink the Grand Cru on our birthdays. So I might do that one then. But the 30-year-old that I won from the Whisky Club a couple of years ago now, we only drink that at Christmas. So you'll have to wait until December for that comparison, because I'm not wasting a precious drop of that. Okay, so until next week, Sante.